We might be witnessing the esports bubble popping right before our very eyes. This industry that has grown and flourished in the last couple of years. Maybe not really flourished, it's been a money burning pit, but it was pushed forward by speculation, low rates, and not being able to kind of just get a normal return on like bonds and stuff like you can now. A lot of teams were backed by VC money, and a lot of investors put their money out there to speculate on this esports thing, a big growing industry, and to say that sometime in the future, maybe these teams would make a profit, be able to IPO, go public, and make them a lot of money. That hasn't really worked out in their favor. We can see FaZe Clan, their stock absolutely getting hammered down in public markets. It's not the greatest time for stuff like this, but it's not been such a great time in esports. It's not been easy to succeed, and a lot of people are starting to actually get out. We know that it wasn't that long ago where you could see growth on growth like this, saying the top 10 are now worth an average of $355 million, up 46% from 2020. This article is updated in December 19th, 2022. So not too long ago. And you can see the whole list here: TSM, 100 Thieves, Liquid, FaZe, all these guys worth hundreds of millions. These TSM over $500 million. FaZe, I think, IPO'd at $1 billion. They're down to like 60 million or something like that. So it's not been a good road for esports recently, with the market downturn and speculation not being something that people are willing to put money behind anymore. And one of the biggest surprises to everybody in the scene is the Guard laying off every single employee that they have. They got rid of everybody, and they are just keeping their players, I think, and coaches. And even at that, they are trying to sell or get rid of those spots. You can see this. LA Gorillas and LA Gladiators will be closed at the end of their respective seasons if a buyer is not found for their franchise slots. So, one, that's not good for these franchises, right? This is CDL and OWL, I think, Overwatch League, and the Call of Duty League. These are many, many millions of dollars, hundreds of $1 million leagues. A spot for the LAG, Los Angeles Gorillas, that cost them $25 million. Now, I don't think they pay it all up front, so I don't know exactly how that works, but the spot was a $25 million price tag. The OWL was a $20 million price tag. And what's funny is both of these different teams are all Blizzard games. And I think that, for a businessman, you probably should have been a little bit smarter than to get into business with Activision Blizzard, just because they're not a great company. They are extremely greedy when it comes to their type of esports things. It's not like a Riot, where Riot, they're funding their esports leagues. They're fostering them. They're building them up. They're not trying to limit them. They're trying to make them big. And Activision Blizzard seems like they really couldn't care less about their esports leagues. It's just a way to, say, sell the slots and bring in some money for the shareholders. But the way the Guard went about laying off all these people was not great. We can see that this was one thing coming out, saying the security guard at the offices are reportedly threatening former employees for trying to collect their personal files. If we look at this is one of the employees' tweets, saying that he moved here 2 days ago. Now everyone's laid off. What a joke. And saying, you have the most disgusting HR department. Security was trying to detain me for simply trying to back up important files on my laptop. Also, does know how to get out of a 19 lease. I don't know what that really means. I'm assuming he's got a lease. But that is the part that is not so great about this whole situation. No one likes to see layoffs. No one likes to see people losing their jobs, especially in an industry that, a lot of people are connected to online and esports. But this is not the right way to go about it. The Guard, or they basically, had people move out to LA to be part of the team where they were like stationed, the headquarters of the team was, and they had a bunch of people move out there like a month ago, and then they just fired everybody. So you probably didn't come to the conclusion, a month ago or a few weeks ago saying, well, we got to fire everybody. That was probably in talks for a long time. Maybe don't have everybody move out to LA, one of the most expensive places to live, when you're going to get rid of their job. And the reason this is so surprising to everybody is that this the Guard is backed by Stan Kroenke, who is worth $12.9 billion. So he's got a chunk of change on him. Now, the one thing, a lot of people look at this and say, he's a billionaire. Why doesn't he just fund this thing? He's been in the scene for a while. I think for 6 years, Kronk Esports has been in this scene, has been funding people, has provided jobs, paid players, made esports a thing for 6 years, and basically has lost money every single year. And it's not like this guy's got $13 billion sitting in his bank account. We can see what he's the owner of, which is a lot of impressive teams, right? He's got he's got Arsenal for Arsenal men's club, Arsenal women's club. He's got the Los Angeles Rams. So he's in soccer. He's in the NFL, NBA, NHL. He's in MLS. He's in a lacrosse league, and you can see Call of Duty League, Overwatch League, and he's the owner of the Guard. So he's in Valorant and stuff like that. So, but the thing is, when he's in all these leagues, his net worth is based off of the value of the Rams, the value of all these league teams. So it's not like he's got the money sitting in his bank account. Now, he probably does have a lot of money sitting in his bank account, and he could possibly fund all this stuff for a long time. But the problem is, he's probably not passionate about esports. He doesn't care about these things. He just sees that he's been in this industry for 6 years and hasn't had a year where he's made money. And he's probably lost tens of millions, maybe hundreds of millions, but definitely at least tens of millions of dollars. And it's not a good thing when you're not passionate about the industry and you're burning money in it. He's probably just want to get out and, you know, ditch the whole thing. He probably feels pretty scammed actually over everything, especially working with Blizzard and the things I've heard people talking about the CDL and stuff, what they were sold and how the league's going to work. And it's going to be so great and the path to profitability and their 5-year plan, but it's never happened. It hasn't happened. They haven't had support. Activision couldn't care less about their esports leagues. So, you know, they were kind of sold a dream that never was planned on being executed, mostly because they partnered or were part of Blizzard, which is not a great company for the esports side. They could not care less about esports. They've proved it year after year. It would have been better if he was probably with Riot and was seeing this type of growth with Riot, but he wasn't in League. He was in Valorant, which is newer. So it's just a whole lot of things going for esports that the bubble seems to be popping. Teams that nobody thought was going to fall because, like, they were backed by billionaires, they're starting to fall. And we can see the full list here, or what's happened at least in 2023 so far. You see the Guard dead, E United dead, Torrent dead, FaZe Clan has layoffs, and the stock is just getting beaten down. 100 Thieves 15% laid off. Optic had layoffs. Immortals had layoffs. Liquid layoffs. Nerd Street, which is like a esports tournament runner, they had financial trouble and staff cuts, and Riot even cut jobs. So it's not been easy for anybody, and I think this is just the tip of the iceberg. VC money is not flooding in, and most of these teams just aren't making any money. Most of them are burning it year after year with no real path to profitability. I don't see any real teams besides your 100 Thieves, Optic, and I mean maybe FaZe, but even they don't make money. But those guys are like the only ones actually with a plan to make money, with a plan to actually bring in revenue. Optic has their different partnerships and content stuff, and I don't agree with everything Optic does, but 100 Thieves is probably the best example. They started by growing their merch line. Then they moved into high ground. They bought a keyboard company. They're running with that. Then Nate Shot started Juvie, and an energy drink company, because gamers drink energy drinks to get caffeinated to compete in their games. So 100 Thieves is probably the best example of what orgs should be doing, building out different ventures in the gaming space to bring in revenue by merchandise or products instead of relying on strictly sponsorships or VC money, because those can dry up very quickly, and then you have massive problems like we're seeing now. Hopefully this isn't the death of esports. I don't think it will be, but it's definitely going to be a dark time, and we're going to see more teams and orgs drop, and it's not going to be fun to see it. And hopefully everybody gets out, lands on their feet, is able to move forward from this. But seems like we're watching the esport bubble pop in real time. But that's going to do it for this video. As always, remember to smash the like button and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in my next video.